Next point is TDMA. So in TDMA there is a time slot and time gate. So it uses a time instead of frequency. There are different users share the same time slots of the complete time available. Here each user to allocated a time slot in which the user can access the channel. Here user can access the channel. In each slot only one user is allowed to transmit or receive. So we have already seen the diagram of this TDMA in the previous slides. So here each user is assigned a time slot so that the channel may be thought as a time slot that reoccurs every frame where n slot comprises a frame. The TDMA system transmits data in burst and buffer method. Here the transmission from the different users in interfaced into a repeating frame structure. A frame consists of number of slots. Each frame consists of preamble and information message and a trail bits. Half of the time slots will be used for the forward link channels and the remaining half for the reverse link channel. The preamble field comprises the address and the synchronization data that both the base station and subscribers use to identify each other. The guard bits are used to provide a synchronization of a different receivers between different time slots and frames. It is assumed that there are n number of slots for n users so that each user can access the channel in their allowed time slot. The TDMA or FDD in the TDMA FDD systems have identical frame structure that can be used for forward or reverse transmission, but the carrier frequencies will be different for both the links. Now there are some features of TDMA. First feature is that the TDMA uses a different time slots for the transmission and reception. Hence, duplexers are not required. If FDD is used, then a switch is used to switch between transmitter and receiver. As the transmission rates are high, adaptive equalization is necessary. Then the TDMA share a single carrier frequency with several users, where each user makes the use of non-overlapping time slots. The number of time slots depend on a parameter like the bandwidth and modulation method, etc. So using TDMA, we can allocate a different number of time slots per frame to different users. Also, the data transmission is done in burst. It results in low battery consumption as the transmitter of the subscriber can be turned off when it is not in use. The guard time needs to be minimized. If the signal is transmitted at the edges of the time slot, then it is suppressed to reduce the guard time. The transmitted spectrum will expand, resulting in adjacent channel interference. In TDMA, the handoff process is simple and enhanced link control like that provided by the mobile assisted handoff and be carried by the subscriber by listening on an idle slot in the TDMA frame. When the number of channels in TDMA system is the number of channel slots that can be provided in TDMA system is found by multiplying the number of TDMA slots per channel by number of channels available. Now the efficiency of TDMA system. Efficiency of this system is measure of the percentage of the data that is transmitted, and the transmitted data has the information for providing overhead for the access scheme. So the frame efficiency is the percentage of bits per frame which contain a transmitted data. The next is CDMA, that is code division multiple access. Now in this multiple access scheme, many users share the same frequency, same carrier frequency FC. The narrowband message signal is also multiplexed with a spreading signal of larger bandwidth. This spreading signal is a pseudo noise code sequence and it has a higher chip rate than the data rate of the message signal. As the same channel is used by the several users, there may be a problem of near-far effect. The near-far problem occurs if the power of each user within the cell is not controlled such that they appear equal at the base station. The main advantage of CDMA when compared to other multiple access methods is reduce the level of interference, as each user is allocated an individual pseudo-random code word that is orthogonal to the code word of the other users. At the receiver end, the receiver turns to receive the intended signal of the user. The diagram for the CDMA is already seen. Now to minimize the near far problem, The power control is essential in CDMA system. Power control is implemented at the base station by sampling the radio signal strength indicator, that is RSSI, levels of each mobile, and then a power change command over the forward radio link. Now there are some features of CDMA. The first feature of CDMA is that in CDMA, the channel data rates are very high. Hence, the symbol duration in a short and less than a channel delay spread, as a PN sequence have low autocorrelation multipath that is delayed by more than a chip, which will appear as a noise. A rake receiver can be used to improve the reception by collecting a time delayed versions of the required signal. If an undesired user has a high power compared to the other user, then a near fall problem arises at the CDMA receiver end. The CDMA then uses a co-channel cell spatial diversity, which can be used to provide a soft handoff. The soft handoff is done by the MSC, which can monitor a specific user from two or more base stations. Without switching the frequencies, the MSC can decide the best version. The CDMA system users share the same frequency. TDD or FDD can be used. The CDMA has a soft capacity limit. If the number of users increases, the noise increases and system performance decreases. The CDMA uses a co-channel cells spatial diversity, can be used to provide a soft handoff. Soft handoff is done by the MSC that can monitor a specific user from two or more base stations. Without switching the frequency, MSC can decide the best version. The CDMA system users share the same frequency. TDD or FDD can be used. The CDMA has a soft capacity limit. If the number of users increases, the noise increases and the system performance decreases. Then the multipath fading can be reduced as the signal is spread over a long spectrum. If the spread spectrum bandwidth is greater than the coherent bandwidth of the channel, then the frequency diversity will mitigate the effect of the small scale fading. In CDMA system, the self jumping is a problem, and the spreading sequence of the different users are not exactly orthogonal. This leads to the self jamming. Now there is one more concept, that is so we have seen the CDMA. This diagram shows the generation of CDMA signal. First one is the data signal, then random signal, pseudo random code transmitted signal. Now there is one more concept, that is OFDMA. OFDMA means what? It means orthogonal frequency division multiple access. So OFDM is a technique in which bandwidth is divided into several orthogonal frequency subcarriers. There is no guard band in between adjacent subcarrier. Still, the interference is avoided as they are orthogonal to each other. So orthogonality means signals are orthogonal if they are mutually independent of each other. Orthogonality is a property which allows a multiple information signals to be transmitted perfectly over a command channel and detected without interference. So OFDM achieves orthogonality in the frequency domain by allocating each of the separate information signals onto different subcarriers. Here the modulator means each carrier which is to be used in allocated with the data whose amplitude and phase are chosen according to the modulation scheme being used, that is typically BPSK, QPSK or QA. So it is used because of its simplicity and to reduce the problems of fading due to amplitude variations. Then IFFT means IFFT on transmitter and FFTs on receiver side are used to reduce the use of IQ modulators and demodulators. It is used to modulate and demodulate respectively. Then the data constellation on the subscribers. Cyclic prefix. For OFDM, the system bandwidth is broken up into n subscribers and resulting in a symbol rate that is n times lower than the signal carrier transmission. Then this low symbol rate makes OFDM naturally resistant to effect of intersymbol interference, that is ISI, which is caused by the multipath propagation. So the cyclic prefix is added. Due to this, the transmitted signal becomes periodic and the effect of time dispersive multipath channel becomes equivalent to the cyclic convolution. It also discards the guard interval at the receiver. Due to this, the subscriber remain orthogonal and its length should not exceed the maximum access delay of the multipath propagation channel. Then the receiver means here it basically does the reverse operation of the transmitter to retrieve the information transmitted. Then multiple access scheme based on OFDM. It is the extension of OFDM concept in multi-user environment. In this technique, the multiple user signals are separated in both time and frequency domain using OFDM symbols and subscribers respectively. It uses a multiple closely spaced subcarriers. These subcarriers are then divided into further group of the subscribers. Further group of subcarriers which is called as subchannels, and these subcarriers in subchannel need not to be adjacent to each other. Then multiplexing is done by allocating of allocation of different subchannels or different OFDM symbols to different users to send and receive the signal. The burst in the OFDMA consists of several OFDM symbols, and it can be there is a subcarrier allocation also. The working of OFDMA is based on the allocation of subchannel based on subcarrier allocation strategies. So there are three types: sub-band carrier allocation, interleaved CAS, and CAS means carrier allocation scheme, and generalized CAS means generalized carrier allocation scheme. So sub-band carrier allocation scheme means in this all the subcarriers of each user are grouped together. Hence, it is easy to separate them using a simple filter bank. However, in this efficient use of frequency diversity is not done, and it is affected by a fading in the subcarriers of given users. Then interleaved CAS means the problem associated with SCAS are solved in this scheme. In this, allocation of subcarrier is done with uniform spacing between them. Still, it faces a problem of restriction on resource allocation. Then generalized CS, it is the most flexible and desirable method of subcarrier allocation, and it gives the choice to the users to select the best available subcarrier to transmit their information. Hence, it provides a complete use of channel frequency diversity. Also, it provides a flexibility in resource allocation. Then the block diagram of OFDMA consists of mapping IFFT, CP insertion, and the receiver part consists of mapping IFFT and CP insertion. In the transmitter, generally n subcarriers are allocated to the k number of users using one of the CS scheme. So consider here the m be the length of the block of the data obtained by dividing the user data. So these m data symbols makes the use of their respective subcarrier for modulation. On a downlink path, other subcarriers of the length n block of the data are modulated with the data from other users, and the modulated output is sent using conventional OFDM modulator. Now, why synchronization of uplink is difficult problem in OFDMA? Because OFDMA convert the frequency selective channel into a flat fading channel very efficiently. Hence, for channel equalization, one-tap multipliers are used for each subcarriers. This output of equalizer is then used for detection on downlink path. Each user picks up only M data symbols transmitted over its allocated subcarrier for channel equalization and detection purpose. But on uplink, the received signal is comprised of signals from all active users, and hence it has a different frequency offset and different propagation delay. Now there are some advantages of OFDMA, that is the scalability, intrinsic protection against multi-access interference, flexibility in resource management, robustness to multipath channels, and simple equalization. Also, there are some disadvantages of OFDM. It is extremely sensitive to timing errors and carrier frequency offsets. Subcarriers allocation algorithm used at transmitter introduces a complexity. When the OFDMA signals passes through RF amplifier with non-linearities, BER increases. Also, co-channel interference is a bit complex compared to CDMA. Now, there are some applications: IEEE 802.20 mobile broadband wireless access, WiMAX, that is worldwide interoperability of microwave access, ETSI, that is European Telecommunication Standard Institute broadband radio access network, multi-user satellite communication, and 4G LTE. LTE means long-term evaluation network. Thank you.